Hey y'all, it's Wendy Ryan. I'm here in my kitchen tonight making samples, and I thought I'd share with you guys how I make my samples. I'm a little bit different because I use molds and I make mine, just kind of quirky cute because I like them quirky cute. But this is what I normally do is I grab what I need, I put it on the counter, so I've got it all here. I've got my molds, which I have some Christmas molds, and these are just candy molds that I've picked up at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, just wherever. I've got my bags, which I use the 3" by 4", and these right here, I just bought at Walmart for like $1 or $2. My monthly samples flyer that just came in the mail today, along with my monthly scent. And then I've got some other bars here just because I like to mix and play. I've got my labels that I put on them, and you'll see my labels are kind of different because I put on there, hate me, please don't hate me, because you'd be surprised at what kids will do. And then my little bowl, because I would throw my samples in there. And if we walk over here to my stove, I've already started. So what I've done is I've got a double boiler system here. I've got my pan, which has got some water in it, and never put enough water in there that it's going to boil over into your wax, because that's a bad situation. Doesn't work well. And what I've done is I've just melted my clementine clove, which is this month's or next month's scent of the month. And what I normally do is I just take it out of the water, and I'm going to try my best to get all this in here, y'all. I normally pour it into a Pyrex dish right here. Try to get as much of it as I can, and then I just put it back in there to keep it, very low temperature, but it keeps my wax kind of warm, so anything else that's left in there I can wipe out with a paper towel. Then I'm just going to come over here, I'm just going to pour my wax into whichever mode you want. And of course, I always make a mess, so you have to just kind of ignore my messes. Oops, see what I mean? The good part is that if you melt these on a low temperature and you want to redo them, so that little spot that I just messed up right there, I can actually take it once it's hard and pop it back in there to remelt it. And let's get this one done. I'm going to show you guys two different ways that I do samples, because I do the scent of the month, which I'll send out. This one has little houses in it, so these go to my realtor friends. And then this one is Tiger Paws, because I've got a high school that I haven't ordered to, and that's their motto is the Tigers. So I'm going to go ahead and do Tiger Paws and put in their orders when I send them to them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to put this in the freezer for about 10 minutes. And I'm just going to pause right here. And let's see. I normally try to wait until they get just a little bit hard so they're not spilling all over, which you can tell my house is kind of cool. So it's starting to hard up. And what I'll do is once it starts getting that light orange color, I'll go ahead and pop it over in the freezer for about 10 minutes. And then I will be right back to show you what I do after I do that. So I'm going to put you guys on pause for a minute. Hey y'all, okay, I've just popped in the freezer my 3 molds that I've got the scent of the month in. And now I'm just going to play around and mix some scents and make me some pretty flowers. I use my flower molds, my flower scent samples in all of my orders that go out the door. If I've got somebody that's interested in becoming a Scentsy consultant, I'll normally stick a flower in their blessing bag that I do. So what I do is I always have 2 scents, and I'm trying to get y'all out of the light. I always put 2 scents into my flowers. I've already started this flower off, and this is the scent of the month. And what I normally do is I just take these and try to smell which ones are going to smell good. I try to make sure that we use the scent of the month. So I'm going to set you guys down for just a minute again. And let's see. See if I can get this in here. Alright. So I'm going to take my first wax. I'm going to take another one. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to put it in like this. Then I'm just going to smell it. Okay, that's not that bad. And I know it's going to make a pretty flower because we've got 2 contrast colors. And this one is Cranberry Muffin. I try to use a Bring Back My Bar as well as the scent of the month. And it's just because if I can get somebody interested in Bring Back My Bar, that's somebody that I can contact later and say, hey, we've got a Bring Back My Bar special going on. You can go vote, and they're going to be out this month, blah, blah, blah. So it kind of keeps people coming back. And this one I really, really like together, and I don't know why. It's just a weird smell, but it makes it really cool. And this one is something I can't even pronounce. Awape Sun Seaberry. See, can't read. And Clementine Cove. So I really like these 2 together. So what I'm going to do is while I'm waiting on the others to get done, I'm going to go ahead and melt this wax, the Amalfi Seaberry. And while it's melting, I'll work on my other molds as they get ready to come out of the freezer. And then I'm going to be right back to show you guys how I do my molds and do my pretty flowers, because it's a little bit tedious and a little bit hectic to do. you have to really take your time, especially to get the centers in just right. And a lot of times I'll spill the centers over so they're not exactly perfect, which is fine because, you know, if you ever look at a flower, they're all different anyhow. So, all right, bear with me and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just gotten my molds out of the freezer, and they've been in there for about 10 minutes, and I'm carefully just popping them out. Sometimes when you tip them over, they automatically just come out because they're cold and they're good. Get these out. And as you can see, we've got the little tiger paws. And what I'll do is I'll take one of these bags that I have earlier. I'm going to pop a card in there. And then it's just a regular business card from Scentsy. I always put my scent sample to the back of that card. And then I'll close it. That way I've got my information on the front. And I always stick a scent sample label on the back. If I don't drop it. And stick it on there. And then you can attach it to your monthly specials flyer, or you can just hang on to it and give it to people. What I normally do is I'll do a mailing to most of my customers. So I'll pop the scent sample in there along with a flyer. So that way they know what's on sale this month. And then, let's see. I'm not going to do all these right now. So what I'll do is I'll just put these over my bowl. And then I go back and I bag them all up and tag them and everything. So we've got all of them here. I'm going to set them over here. And if you recall in the last video segment, I told you that I had the Amalfi, or Awafi, however you say that, sea berry, and I've got it melted so I can make it into flowers. So I'm just going to push all these back for right now. And I'm going to show you how I do my flowers. I'm kind of strange when I do my flowers. I've got my middles done on this one. I don't on these two because I'm going to do them different. So we're going to walk over here to the wonderful double boiler system. Now, and I've got a different Pyrex dish here, and I've got a bigger one, and there's a reason for it. I want this to kind of cool down before I pour it in there. It just makes it a little bit easier to pour into the centers. And again, I'm going to put this back in here because I want that wax to keep warm on my pan, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my paper towels over here and wipe it out and make it ready for the next one. So, as you can see, my wax is already starting to cool, so I've got to kind of make it a little bit quick to go over here. And I've already done the centers on these, so I'm just going to fill them up a little bit. Because these are sucker molds, I have to be careful that it hardens before it starts pouring out of the mold. Because it hits that sucker stick part and it wants to roll out. So I just kind of carefully put it in here. And then on these ones, I'm just going to do the center, so I'm going to very carefully. And of course I'm going to mess this up all because I've got video going. So normally just take it real slow and just kind of do the center just like that. What I'll do is some of these, when I kind of mess them up, I'll go back after they harden and fix them with my nail, or you can use a sharp knife, whatever works for you. And then once this hardens, I will grab the Cocoa Clementine or whatever I'm mixing with this and melt it and pour it onto the hardened centers. I'm going to tell you, just make sure that they're hard when you go to pour it so that the wax doesn't mix into the flour, because then you just end up with one odd colored flower. And then you could just, once you get them poured, if I don't kill them, and you'll see that these molds are very used. And I'm trying to hurry, and that's why I'm messing these up. But, I mean, just take your time. And again, these are just flower molds that I bought at the Hobby Lobby or wherever. Let me go back up here. And you can see right there I filled it too much, so it's rolling out on my countertop. Which my countertop's very used to having flower wax on it, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did with my other molds. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, or the freezer, for about 10 minutes. And then when 10 minutes is up, I'm just going to pull it out, turn them over, pop them out. Now, I'm going to show you how I do them. I do my flowers a little bit different because I don't put them in a bag like this. I change my bag up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these in the freezer and let them sit for about 10 minutes, and then I'll be right back to show you what I do there. Okay, so we're back. I've got my flower molds out of the freezer, popped them out, and this is the finished product. So what I'm going to do is I've got my little bags here, and you see I put the label on the back side. And I'm going to put the phone down like this so y'all can see, hopefully. iPhones are not good for making videos, that's for sure. So I'm going to take that little bag, and I'm just going to drop my flower in it. And of course you want the flower to go on the opposite side of your label so you can see through it, but when they flip it over, they're going to see your label. And I cut the top of these off. Ow. so that the bag is different. And then I just take a little bit of curling ribbon, which is all pre-cut for me. I tend to do that and have it ready. And then I'm just going to tie the flower off at the bottom. And of course this doesn't want to work for me. I have a tendency to cut my strings too tight. When you're tying this off, make sure that you're right underneath your flower. There we go. Because the bag is kind of big, so it's gonna fit. You're just gonna have to play with it a little, and you'll get the feel for it. I mean, it's not that hard. Just try to make sure your flower's in the middle is what I do, and then I just curl my little ribbon, and it makes this cute little flower. And another thing you can do is you can put a stick in these and make them stand up, but I found out that that just doesn't work for me, so I'll do my flowers like this. And then you got your label on the back. And that's what I put in my orders when I bag them up, when I separate them and bag them up. And you can use a variety of different things. I mean, I've got like grapefruit pomegranate and pink cutie that I'll play with. They're both pink, so I doubt I'll do those. But I just kind of think about what the flower is going to look like when it's made. And, you know, make sure that they smell good together. Because you don't want to put like Neverland and pink cutie together, because that's going to be a horrible mix. But, I mean, just smell them and see. If you like them, you know your customers will like them. So that's pretty much all that I got tonight. Tomorrow night I'm going to try to do a video that just shows how I do my orders when I get them in. I've got a pretty good order coming in tomorrow, so I'll be getting those bags ready for my teachers that ordered. And I look forward to sharing with you. Have a good night. Bye.